This is your one and only FireSpark81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and welcome back to another informational Valheim video. Today we're going to cover everything you need to know about shields, including parry force, parry bonus, and more. Let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is go through all of the shields and their recipes. Now, this is all of the shields that I've been able to find in the game so far. I'm pretty sure this is all of them that you can get through normal means. If I've missed any, please let me know down in the comments. Okay, so we have the wooden shield. You're going to need wood, resin, and leather scraps. Then we have the tower shield, the wood tower shield, which is just wood and leather scraps. After that, you're going to need the forge to get the rest of them. Your next step in shields for the bucklers would be the bronze buckler, which is 10 bronze and 4 wood. And then we move on to the iron stage, which is the banded shield. That's going to be 10 fine wood and 8 iron. Then the iron tower shield, which is a 15 fine wood and 10 iron. Then we move on to serpent scale and silver. So serpent scale is going to cost you 10 fine wood, 4 iron, and 8 serpent scales. And then the silver shield is going to be 10 fine wood and 8 silver. Then that leads us into black metal. So we have the black metal buckler. Well, it just says black metal shield, but this is not a tower shield. I'm just going to call it a buckler. Anyway, it's 10 fine wood, 8 black metal, and 5 chain. And then we have the black metal tower shield, which is 15 fine wood, 10 black metal, and 7 chain. Now, the reason I'm showing you all of these is so that you know what you need to touch material-wise in order to get said recipe for the shield that you're after. Okay, so now that we've covered the recipes and you know what you need to touch in order to create the shield you want to create, let's talk about leveling that shield up. So from what I can tell right now, the max level for all shields in the game is 3. Now, the stats vary depending on what level they are and what changes. So if we take a look here at the wooden shield, you can see that our durability is 200, our block power is 200, and our parry force is 20. If we move on to level 2, our durability has gone up by 50, our block power has gone up by 5, but our parry force has stayed the same. And then that continues on with that same pattern. So we keep the same parry force, we gain another 50 durability at level 3, and we gain another 5 block power. Now, if we move on to the bronze buckler, we have a durability of 200, a block power of 45, and a parry force of 30. Now, the reason I'm pointing out the parry force is because the parry force does change on some shields. If we move on to level 2, you can see that our block power is 1 up by 5, our durability by 50. Everything else stays the same. Same thing with level 3. Block power by 5, durability by 50. Everything else stays the same. Moving on to the iron shield, we follow the same suit as we move through the levels, but with the iron shield, you will notice that at level 2, our parry force does move up by 5. So, and then we move on to 3, and we go from starting with a parry force of 40 at level 1 to level 3, having a parry force of 50. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, but what is parry force, FireSpark? Why does that matter? And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. So moving on to the silver shield, you can see that it follows the same pattern as the rest of them. So if we go from tier 1 to tier 2, we gain an increase of block power by 5, 50 durability, and on this one, the parry force went up by 5 as well, and then that continues suit through the set. Black metal, we have 200 durability, 90 block power, and 50 parry force. And if we move on, it's the same thing, moving up in increments of 5. So moving on to the tower shields, our wooden tower shield, 200 durability, 35 block power. As we move through here, you can see it follows the same pattern as the rest of them. And I'm just going to kind of go through them here and highlight because you'll quickly see that they follow the same pattern. They do not, however, have as many stats as their counterparts, but they do have more block power by default, ending in the black metal tower shield blocking a total of 115 damage. And if we take a look over here at the buckler, you can see it only blocks 100 damage. If we take a look at the lower end of the spectrum here, maxed out wooden shield is only going to block 30. a maxed out wooden tower shield is going to block 45. So you lose the parry power and the parry bonus, but you end up gaining more block power. If you'll also notice that the tower shields slow your movement by 20%, with the exception of the serpent scale, which is much lighter and only slows you by 10%. So if we take a look here, wooden is 20, iron is 20, and the black metal is 20, but at all stages of the serpent scale, it's only 10% reduction to movement speed. Serpent scale also looks like it gains a bonus in durability as well. So if we take a look at iron, it's at 200. We take a look at black metal, it's at 200, but the tier 1 version of the serpent scale starts at 250 and ends in 350, where its two upper and lower end counterparts are at 300 each. Okay, so now we're going to talk about block power. We're going to talk about parry force, and we're going to talk about parry bonus. So first off, block power. As I stated in my previous video where I covered shields a little bit and compared them to armor, and you should check out that video. It's in the playlist if you haven't seen it. The playlist is linked below. Block power is a total damage reduction. So if it says your block power is 30 and you block, it is going to negate a total of 30 damage. Parry force is the shield's knockback when you parry. Now, shields aren't the only thing with parry force. A lot of different things have parry force. For example, if we take a look at my axe here, it has a parry force of 20. It only has a block power of 10, and that's where it becomes inefficient, and you're never really going to use it unless you're fighting very low level stuff, because if any damage gets through, you cannot parry an attack. And our parry bonus is the additional bonus damage you do after you have parried. And when the thing is doing like that flailing motion, and I'll show you here. All right, so we have a skeleton here, and if we parry, you can see he does like that flailing motion there. You have to hit them during that time. So when they are doing that, when you hit them while they're doing that, that's when you get the bonus damage. So if we equip our axe here, and we wait for him to swing, and we parry, and we hit, we do bonus damage. Now, I only clipped him with the tip of the axe there. We want to actually hit him with the full thing, and there we go. We do additional damage. So for that, you're only doing whatever it says. So we're doing an extra 0.5 damage there. And you can see that all of these are 1.5 damage, with the exception of the bronze buckler, which has a parry bonus of 2, so you're actually doing double damage. So I have a skeleton trapped over here, and if we take a look at the damage on my axes right now, I'm doing anywhere from 19 to 36. So if we parry with this, we should get anywhere from 40 damage to 36 damage, somewhere in between. So if we come down here to this skeleton I have here, and we block and we hit him, there we did 29. There we did 43. 45. 69. Now, if I just hit him normal, you can see 19, 33, and 19. And we can demonstrate parry force really, really easily here just by blocking a skeleton and looking to see where it lands when we block. So if we go through the shields here, you can see this one has a parry force of 20. Our black metal has a parry force of 60. So if we just spawn a little basic skeleton right here and we back all the way up, he should end up at the same spot to attack us every single time when we parry. So now if we parry him, you can see he doesn't knock back very far. If we swap over to the black metal and we parry, you can see he knocks back really far. Look at the difference there. And we can just go through those there and look at the difference and how far he goes back. So there we go. There's that one. Let's swap to the next one. There's that one. You can see as we go through the different levels here, we are shoving him back further and further, and that is because the parry force on all of these changes as we go through the different levels. So why is all this important? This is all very important because it's going to affect your playstyle if you want to maximize your damage. So if, for example, we are using the black metal shield and we are using something like axes to attack, that means we have to travel even further to get that bonus damage. So if we take a look here, we have our skeleton here and we're going to get his attention, and I want to demonstrate to you how this can be a problem. So if we block with the shield, then we have to run all the way up to hit. So let's, I hit the wrong thing there. So let's hit him and then we have to run up. Now, we were able to get it that time, but that's because we're on flat terrain. Depending on what the terrain you're on is and how far you knock them back, you may or may not be able to get to them in time if you're knocking them back that far. If we take a look at something like the bronze buckler and we block, we're at a much closer range. We can get to him a lot faster. He's not being knocked back as far. On top of that, we're also getting a lot more damage out of the bronze buckler because it's ×2 instead of ×1.5. Honestly, out of all of these, I know this one doesn't block as much as some of the other ones, and when you're in the end game content, it's going to be a lot better to block more. But if you're looking to maximize your damage up until you get to the point where you're fighting current end game content, this shield right here is probably your best bet to maximize your damage. Now, some other things that I want to point out is stamina use. So if we grab another skeleton test subject here, I want you to look at how much my stamina goes down as I block. So here we go, we block an attack, and it's going to make a difference how close I am because apparently you can have glancing blows in this game. So here we go, we're going to get up in his face. Look at how far my stamina goes down. Let's get one more. You can see we lose a nice chunk there because the stamina lost is based on the amount of damage that they do. And I can demonstrate that pretty easily by grabbing a lower level skeleton. Now look at the stamina that this skeleton uses. You can see he barely touches our stamina at all because this is a tier 1 skeleton or a level 1 skeleton, and he doesn't do a whole lot of damage. However, this guy here puts a big hurtin' on our stamina bar, like so. But I want you to take note that if I parry an attack, we use a lot less stamina. So once again, parry, you can see the stamina goes down less. And we could see it even more if we had actual numbers. So hold on a minute here. Let's try to parry an attack. There you go. You can see that I parried that attack. It only went down a little bit. And we'll parry a couple more here. There we go. There was a parry. There's another parry. You can see that we're only losing a small chunk when we parry. Now, let's just hold block so you can get another look at that. So not only is it beneficial for you to parry an attack for the additional damage, it's also beneficial to parry an attack for stamina usage. So one last thing I want to talk about for shields is our block power and how our blocking skill affects our block power. So if you take a look at this wooden shield, you can see that there is an orange number and then there is a yellow number. That orange number is the base block power for the shield. The yellow number is how much it goes up depending on our block power. So right now I have my blocking skill at 0, so we have the default. Now this is important because all shields work a little bit differently than weapons. If we take a look at our weapon here, you could see that our slash damage is at 19 to 36. However, our max amount of slash damage is 55 there in orange. That's because I'm not maxed out with axes. With the weapons, you actually start out on the lower end of damage and you don't reach that max damage until you have maxed out that skill to level 100. However, with shields and blocking, it's a completely different situation. You start with the base blocking power, and then that blocking power increases the higher level you are in blocking. So let's put our skill at 50 so you can see what it is on, well, right now the low end is of course the base. You can see what it is at 50, and then we'll raise it to 100, and you can see what each of these look like at 100. So I've got our blocking at 50, and we're just going to take a look at each of the shields so you can see how that affects their damage. So we gain an additional 5 on the base wooden shield. You can see there we're at 25. We go up to 31 at level 2 and 38 at level 3. The bronze buckler, we go at level 1, we go up to 56, 63, 69. The banded shield, we go to 75, 81, and 88. The silver shield, 94, 100 at level 2, and 106 at level 3. The black metal shield, tier 1, we get 113, 119, and then 125. And let's quickly look at the tower shields for those of you who enjoy those. So 44, 50, 56, 94, 100, and 106. Serpent scale, we got 113, 119, and 125. And the black metal, 131, 138, and 144. All right, let's raise our skill to level cap now. Okay, so now we have blocking maxed out at level 100. So let's take a look at what we get here. So we get a full additional 10 just using the wooden shield. We go to 30, 38, and then 45. The bronze, 68, 75, and at tier 3, 83 damage. So if you actually manage to max out your blocking, the bronze buckler at 83 damage could block pretty much all of the end game content right now. And I'll show you that before we wrap this up. So if you do want to use it to get that 2 times damage, it should be doable if you max out your skill. We take a look at the banded. We have 90 starting out at level 1, 98, and then at level 3, 105. Silver, 113, 120, and then 128, and then black metal, 135, 143, and then 150 damage. And if we take a look at the tower shields, tier 1 wooden is 53, 60, and then 68. The tier 1 iron is at 113. Holy crap, the tier 1 iron shield can block pretty much all the damage that's in the game right now that I know of. You're gonna block almost all of the damage, if not all of the damage from the goblins, and definitely the death skeetos with this thing. So that's maxed out skill though. So if you have maxed out skill, you could use the freaking tier 1 iron shield to block most damage from almost everything. Then we go to 120, 128. Serpent scale is 135, 143, and then 150. Holy crap. The black metal tower shield, 158, 165, and then 173 damage. Holy, nothing is getting through that. Nothing. I don't know of anything in the game that's going to hit you that hard. Nothing in the game right now. That maybe the final boss that's in the game right now. As you could tell, I haven't looked at these stats like this before. I'm a little impressed. So something else that's interesting to note that I actually just discovered is that it looks like parrying will actually block double whatever your block power is. So if we take a look here, our block power is currently 57 with this tier 3 iron buckler. We have a tier 2 goblin here, or 2-star goblin. If we block the damage, you can see there, I blocked, I parried, some of the damage got through. So let's go again. And I'm parrying there at 115. I blocked 115. 2.5 got through. If we just block his attack straight, you can see 28 got through. We cannot block all of the damage. Some of it gets through, so we take a little, we get stunned. But if you'll notice, we're blocking way more when we parry than when we just hold down block. So that was 115 damage that we were able to block there. So that makes your block skill even more important because of the additional damage that you're going to be able to block if you have your block skill raised high. Okay, our block skill is currently at 50. This should be relatively easy to do if you block and you're playing full melee and you're blocking a lot of attacks, or if you just train up with a friend. That puts our wooden shield at a block power of 38 and our buckler at 69 damage. So if we come over here and we block this guy with the wooden shield and we're able to parry, hey buddy, there we go. You can see we're blocking a lot more damage there. 50 got through, 65 got through. But if we swap over to our bronze buckler and we just block normal, he hits 85 got through on that one, 24 on that one, and 50 on that one. However, if we parry the attack, why does he insist on being like right up in my face? Buddy, just stay at a distance. There we go. You can see we're able to parry all of his damage at 134. Now keep in mind, this is a 2-star goblin. he hits like a truck. Look at the damage that he's hitting there. 86, 168, 184. But we can block almost all of that if we parry the attack. Up there, 0.5 got through. We just blocked 130.9, 110, 134. You get the idea. I'm not going to continue to go on. So your blocking skill is super important and can make a massive difference, allowing you to use a much lower level shield, something like the bronze buckler, so you can get that 2 times damage bonus when you parry an attack. It can allow you to parry a ton of damage. That also means that it's a situation where your bucklers are going to be way more powerful than your tower shields. If we come over here and we let's grab the black metal, because that's going to block 144 damage there. And we're going to come over here and we're going to use this one, and we're just going to hold it up. We're only going to get that 144. You can see if he does over that, it does manage to get through. We took 0 damage there, but if he was to hit us for more than that, the damage is going to eventually get through. You can see we got stunned there because it was a 0 damage. And he's also chewing up a ton of our stamina because it's impossible for us to parry an attack. We can block real quick. We block the damage, but we don't parry. As to where if we use a buckler style shield and we parry, we get a moment to regen stamina because of the knockback. We also get bonus damage. We're also using less stamina because we parried, and it's just overall way better for you if you can manage to time attacks. If you're not good at timing attacks, then yeah, you probably want to use the tower shield. But if you get those timings down and you're pretty good at timing blocks like that, and it only takes a little bit of practice, you're going to be much better off using the buckler style shields. I'm just calling, or round shields, whatever we're calling them. I'm just going to call them bucklers. Then you are the tower shields. Okay, I think I've covered every little detail I can think to cover about shields. Hopefully you all found this video helpful and most importantly, informational. If you did, consider hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other Valheim videos. And I don't just cover Valheim, I cover all kinds of different games, so you never know when I'm going to be making guides for a game that you may be playing. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this episode. If you like what you saw, consider hitting that sub button. I want to give a big thank you to my patrons for making this episode possible. Y'all are absolutely amazing people. If you'd like to join my Elite Crew Patreon supporters, please check out the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.